So within the Buddhist traditions, there is a practice of establishing what we refer to as a do. So for example, if you studied karate, you understand that in Japanese they will refer to it as karate do. And some people have practiced aikido, and there's judo. And this do idea means that we have a little practice area here that we can drop our microscope down on, and this macrocosm, if you will, is going to show us dynamics. The virtue of this model will reveal dynamics in the larger macrocosm. And that, Confucius said of one of his students, he said, this guy's so bright that when I teach him one thing, he learns 10. This is why. Because this idea of analogical thought. Now, analogical thought has a bad rap nowadays. You probably have heard. It's extremely déclassé in certain circles, particularly proponents of scientism. They don't want anything analogical at all. They don't realize that all knowledge is actually analogical, right? Something you can think about. But so they like to give examples that, well, they used to say this analogical form of reasoning said, well, clearly once they said there can only be 7 planets because the skull only has 7 holes in it. And so this is one of the models. And so modern scientists would use that to say, clearly this whole system of analogical thought is just crazy superstition. They don't want to talk about phlogiston, right? They don't want to talk about this process that has to go on with science as well. There's some pretty silly science theories also. So my point is that these models are useful, and rather than judging them from a so-called objective standpoint, we actually have to try to be a little subjective to understand what these models are really conveying to us. Okay? So within Buddhism, we have this idea of a do. And the do is a practice field. And the do, one of the Chinese masters, Sun Wutong, he said, boxing partakes, or boxing rather, embodies the Tao. And this is why we do it. The reason he says boxing embodies the Tao is because it has this do function. And we put a microscope down on this particular exchange. And this exchange, classically in martial arts, comes from a life and death battle. And this is to be or not to be. This is the existential question. If you don't get a solution to this problem, you won't get to address any other problems. It's that fundamental. And through human history, it's been given a lot of attention because of it. We can even look today. Our most advanced science usually goes to warfare. And then maybe we find some other use for it. But usually it's this existential question. And that's one of the reasons that I brought this samurai story.